Before the MCU, before Christopher Nolan's Batman, before superheroes dominated Hollywood, there was one movie that convinced audiences a man could actually fly. And somehow, nearly 50 years later, Superman. The movie still feels more magical than many superhero films with 10 times the budget. But is that just nostalgia talking? Or does Richard Donner's classic actually hold up against modern comic book movies? Today we're going back to 1978 to find out whether Christopher Reeve's Superman is still the gold standard, or if time has finally caught up with the Man of Steel. And trust me, there's one scene near the end that completely changes how I feel about this movie, and it's probably the most controversial moment in Superman history. What's up, everyone? Today we're taking a look back at Superman. The movie, the film that didn't just launch a franchise, it helped create the superhero blockbuster as we know it. Released in 1978, this movie had an impossible job. Comic book movies weren't taken seriously. Flying looked fake. Studios didn't think audiences would buy into a man wearing bright blue tights and a red cape. Yet somehow, Richard Donner and Christopher Reeve made millions of people believe Superman was real. Watching it today is fascinating because you can see where almost every superhero movie borrowed its DNA. But while so much of this film still feels timeless, there are also a few parts that definitely remind you this movie is from another era. Let's talk about both. The first thing that stands out is just how much confidence this movie has. It never apologizes for being Superman. There's no attempt to make him darker, no cynical twists, no gritty realism. This movie fully embraces hope, kindness, and heroism, and somehow that still works. The opening alone feels epic. Starting with Krypton gives Superman's origin real weight. Instead of rushing through it in 5 minutes like many modern superhero movies would, we actually spend time there. Marlon Brando's Jor-El brings an incredible sense of importance to Krypton's destruction. Even today, those crystalline sets and massive visuals still have a unique look. Sure, some effects show their age, but the world itself feels believable. Then we jump to Smallville. And honestly, these scenes might be my favorite part of the movie. Jonathan and Martha Kent aren't just side characters, they're the emotional foundation of Clark Kent. Jonathan teaching Clark that his powers exist for a greater purpose, not fame, is still one of the best superhero lessons ever put on film. When Jonathan dies, it's surprisingly emotional, not because of flashy music or huge drama, but because Clark realizes there's one thing even he can't stop: death. That moment shapes Superman far more than any explosion ever could. Then comes Christopher Reeve. And this is where the movie becomes something special. People always talk about Reeve's Superman, but what really amazes me is his Clark Kent. Watch how he changes his posture, his voice, his smile, even the way he walks. It genuinely feels like two different people. No glasses should fool anyone. Yet somehow Christopher Reeve makes you completely believe they do. That's acting. Not visual effects, not CGI, just pure performance. Then there's Lois Lane. Margot Kidder brings so much energy to every scene that she instantly becomes one of cinema's most memorable love interests. Her chemistry with Reeve carries the entire second half of the movie, especially during the famous flying sequence. Now, let's talk about the effects. For 1978, they're incredible. The flying scenes changed filmmaking forever. Some shots still look surprisingly convincing. Others, well, you can definitely tell they were made nearly 50 years ago. But here's something interesting. Even when the effects aren't perfect, the movie's sincerity makes you stop caring. You're invested in the characters, not just the spectacle. That's something many modern superhero movies struggle with. Now for one of the biggest surprises, Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. He's funny, he's charismatic, he's constantly stealing every scene he's in. But this is also where the movie stumbles a little. His version of Lex feels more like a theatrical criminal mastermind than the cold, calculating genius fans know today. Sometimes his comedy undercuts the tension. There are moments where you wish he'd feel a little more dangerous. And speaking of pacing, this movie takes its time. Very much its time. Modern audiences used to non-stop action might find parts of the first hour surprisingly slow. There's a lot of setup before Superman fully becomes Superman. But honestly, I think that's exactly why the payoff works. Because when he finally puts on the suit, it feels earned. Then we get Superman saving helicopters, stopping robberies, rescuing Air Force One, saving cats from trees. He's becoming the hero everyone needs. Everything builds beautifully. And then the movie reaches what feels like its emotional peak. Superman has finally become the symbol of hope the world believes in. It feels like nothing can bring him down. Until tragedy strikes. Lois Lane dies. It's shocking, heartbreaking. Christopher Reeve completely sells Superman's despair without saying much at all. His scream echoes through the canyon. And for a moment, this perfect hero is completely powerless. It's one of the most human moments Superman has ever had on film. Then comes that ending. Superman flies around the Earth, turns back time, and saves Lois. Even decades later, fans still debate whether this ending is brilliant or completely ridiculous. On one hand, it undercuts the consequences. If Superman can reverse time, why doesn't he solve every future problem this way? That's a fair criticism, but emotionally, it works. Because the film isn't really asking whether time travel makes scientific sense. It's asking whether hope should win, whether love should overcome tragedy, whether Superman should inspire us to believe impossible things are possible. And honestly, that's exactly what this movie set out to do from the beginning. Watching Superman, the movie today feels like opening a time capsule. Some effects have aged, some pacing feels slow, some storytelling choices wouldn't work in a modern blockbuster. But the heart is almost untouchable. Christopher Reeve didn't just play Superman. For many people, he became Superman. His warmth, his kindness, his optimism. Those qualities are why this movie still matters nearly 5 decades later. It's proof that superhero movies don't need endless destruction or constant jokes to leave a lasting impression. Sometimes, all you need is a hero who reminds us to be better people. I'd give Superman, the movie, 1978, a 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it remains one of the most important and most heartfelt superhero films ever made. If you enjoyed this review, let me know down in the comments. Is Christopher Reeve still the greatest Superman of all time? Or do you think another actor has taken the cape? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review. Take care.